Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the On the Mat Wrestling Show, and welcome to Heatwave. Yes, Heatwave from NXT this Sunday. But before we get to Heatwave, I got Jimmy Korderas, the Hall of Fame referee. I'm the only one who's saying it because when you get inducted in the Hall of Fame, I know you're going to take your lovely wife, but you should also take me because I don't see Donnie every week saying you're a Hall of Famer or whatever. Come on.
Well, he doesn't say it every week. I'm hoping he's thinking it anyway. I don't know. I can't speak for him though.
All right, some breaking news here about Hulk Hogan. Of course, he passed away a few weeks ago. Now there are doctors saying that maybe a surgeon medical malpractice severed an artery, causing him to sort of lose his voice or something during the procedure. It seems like we're not going to hear the end of how Hulk Hogan died.
No, this is some scary news if it's true, because obviously right now, as we're talking right now, we don't know how valid this is. This is all breaking news. I'm not sure. You're saying that TMZ,
Yeah,
are the ones
TMZ.
who
Yeah,
are the ones who broke this, and it's going to be a lengthy investigation, that's for sure. So before people start jumping to conclusions and start saying one thing or another, let's find out the truth first. But if that's the case, I could understand it, because before he passed away, when you talk to people like Jimmy Hart and stuff like that, he was saying how well he was doing before he went in for the surgery. So I don't want to try and connect dots that aren't there, but hey, where there's smoke, there's sometimes fire.
yeah, and it should be interesting. And if there's a medical malpractice, we're talking about Hollywood Hulk Hogan. So you could smell like the $1 million man's right there. Could smell money for his family, but and I know the situation and this story will continue, and we'll have I'm sure in Huge Pop you'll talk about it, and we'll have big news here on the Fired Up Network. But as we said, the preview for NXT Heatwave happening this Sunday. Let's get to, we're all Canadians here, so let's start off with a Canadian, Chelsea Green and Ethan Page. They should win. Forget about these Americans, all right? I'm refusing to talk about the Americans. We're Canadian. Chelsea Green and Ethan Page, who should get a big time push, should win, correct?
I'm on your side with this one. I really love what they're doing. It just makes so much perfect sense to pair these two. And I know people are saying, well, why is Chelsea Green going to NXT? That's like a demotion. No, it is not a demotion. This is a brilliant angle, because if they're going to introduce Ethan Page to the main roster, what better way than to pair him up with Chelsea Green, who is one of the most entertaining people in all of WWE right now. So that being said, I would love to see them, win this one, but it is happening in the United States, and we're not the 51st state yet. So I may have to side with the Yankees. I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. And arguably, Chelsea Green, forget about female, best performer right now in WWE. This lady does it all. It all. And let alone she has a her service. I don't even have a he service. She has a her service. All right. So there you go. I tend to
I love that whole group put together. And I know, again, people are complaining. They want to see bigger things from her. Don't worry. Take your time. What is the rush?
She's on WWE TV. She's on NXT, as opposed to Bailey, who's, I don't know where she is, but we'll talk about that later. All right. Jada Parker, Kiana Jordan, and Lola Vice, triple threat match to determine the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. And let's give it to Lola Vice, first of all. Lola Vice, been on NXT, goes down there in Mexico for AAA and all that. And Jada Parker and Jordan, this should be a very, very good match. And that's a toss-up to me who you call in this match, Jimmy.
Yeah, you could make a case for any one of the three ladies in this match. And you're right. I think this one's going to have the potential to steal the show. I mean, and, Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan are doing Lola Vice right now. I know people are saying about her, oh, when is she going to get moved up to the main roster? The main roster is a tough spot to crack right now. So again, I say everybody, please be patient, enjoy them while they're in NXT, because sometimes when they move and go to the main roster, you don't get that same spark from them because there is so much fire there.
And we got to say congratulations to Naomi and Big Jimmy. All right. Yes. But there's a spot opening. If somebody's going to move out, there's a spot open right there, because Naomi, unfortunately, she's gone probably, I would say, a year. So there's a spot to be open, and maybe just after this NXT or WrestlePalooza or something like that, or Clash in Paris, something like that will happen. So maybe one of these three will get moved up if they lose. So you may want to lose instead of win to get moved up. That's all I'm saying here, right? So
yeah, reverse psychology.
Yes, there you go. JC, Jade, Ash by Elegance, and Masha, triple threat match for the TNA Knockouts World title. Again, who are we going in this one? Because Masha's from TNA and Ash is TNA, but JC is from NXT WWE. So, and she's the champion. Are we going to retain the title, or we're going to give it again to Masha, or do we have a surprise in this one and give it to Ash?
I would love to see a surprise and Ash win this one, because right now with Trick Williams as the TNA champion, and he's technically an NXT superstar. Yeah, I know with JC Jane holding the women's championship from TNA, a lot of people are thinking that's a little bit too much. So if you want to kind of ease the tension between the two brands, you can cause a little friction between Masha Slamovich and Ash by Elegance if Ash were to somehow sneak her way in and, acquire the TNA championship. And then you got a ready built-in feud for them on TNA. I think this be a perfect setup for it and help them take their angle towards TNA and make that a prominent storyline there.
Oh, that should be interesting. And it seems that a lot of stuff is counting on with TNA, with WWE and NXT. So should be a great partnership, developing even more and more. Now for the tag team titles, Hank and Tank versus Dark State. You know what? I think Dark State may have to win this match.
To be honest with you, I don't know if they have to win it, but the odds are against Hank and Tank. Yeah. And I like Hank and Tank. They're very entertaining. But, sometimes you get a little more spice when the titles are on heels. Yeah. And, Dark State, at first I wasn't on board with them, but now they're growing on me as heels. So I think it would benefit, the titles would benefit them more than they would Hank and Tank. Hank and Tank are already, pretty much there, established in the tag team division. So I think you're right there. I think Dark State would benefit more from winning the championship here.
All right, Jordan Grace versus Blake Monroe. And I got to say this, and maybe you agree or disagree with it, but Blake Monroe has been somewhat disappointing in NXT. Would you say yes or no?
I would say kind of half yes. I know why everybody, and including yourself, Joseph, are saying she's disappointing because we saw what she was in AEW. Now, I'm not saying on NXT she should be a carbon copy of what she was there, but we want to see traces of it. We want to see a little bit of Mariah May sprinkled in to Blake Monroe's character, but make it different. That's the challenge. That's the challenge when you want to change up things a little bit from something that was working previously somewhere else, because you don't want to be that same person sometimes. And despite what people think about, no, if it worked there, it's going to work here. Yeah, you may be right, but there's nothing wrong with evolving your character, evolving into something. So I think she's having a little trouble finding her way. I think she's a little bit trepidatious sometimes. Like when she's on the microphone, she isn't as smooth as we saw her in the past.
But you need a person to feud with. And I don't know if Jordan Grace has the same cachet, dare I say that, as Toni Storm.
No, very few have the same cachet as Tony Storm. Tony Storm elevates people, and Jordan Grace, again, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
very, very, very talented, very good in ring, but you need to be the total package. And if you want to get on the mic and have a mic battle with people, when you're battling someone like a Tony Storm, they only make you better.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting. Can Blake take a loss in this match since we're sort of going half-half? Is she disappointed? And what do they do with Jordan Grace? Because can she take a loss in this one? Or did I just call it like a smosh? And there, nobody wins, nobody loses, and then they have another match next down. I think it's September 27th, the next Premier Live event from NXT. I don't know where you're going there. And that leads us to the main event of Heatwave. And honestly, you got Obafemi, who's a monster, for the NXT title up against Javon Evans. And a lot of people are surprised that this match is taking place because, they have, all these guys there, and he's the TNA champion. And I get why they didn't give him the title shot this time, but Javon Evans soon, and what a story would be, because right now I would tell you 101% Obafemi's going to win. Okay, 101.
Oh, I don't know about the 101, but hold on here, because let me just, if you give me a second here, I will find it for you, because my good buddy Rafael Esparza, who does the betting lines for WWE, and he sent me the Heatwave betting lines, and this one, Obafemi is minus 300 and Javon Evans is plus 200.
Yep.
That tells you exactly who the favorite is, obviously. But in this one here, I love Javon Evans. This guy has like natural charisma. It is so infectious, and that's why he's over. What's that?
And I don't know if you've seen NXT this week. Probably did. Did you see when he did the move onto the announce table? The mouth dropped from everybody. And if Obafemi picks you up and throws you like he did on NXT, this guy is, put it that way, his bumps are spectacular.
No, he is fantastic. And the problem with Javon Evans is he's young and sometimes reckless. He's got to tone it down a little bit if he wants to have a long career, because some of those bumps he takes, like you said, they're crazy. But this match is going to be interesting because we have the classic David and Goliath story here in a 2025 settings, which is going to be interesting. Obafemi, I love this guy.
When's he going to be called up?
Again, this one I think is going to be sooner rather than later. But do you pull the trigger now and have him lose to someone like a Javon Evans? I think not the right time for Javon Evans. Like I said, he's very young. He's got a bright future ahead of him. He's very, very much over with the audience. His character is infectious. They love the guy. And Obafemi, I think not the right time. He needs to retain before he heads up to the main roster. And when it's time for him to lose that championship, maybe, you know what? Maybe it's somebody from TNA. You never know.
Well, let's hope that, because I want them to promote TNA all the time. But now, here's our final question for Heatwave. Obafemi, if he does go up to WWE, who's his first feud with? Is it Brock Lesnar? Is it Gunther? Is it Drew McIntyre? Like there's a cornucopia of wrestlers, but who would you, since you're the Hall of Fame referee, who would you put him up there?
I would be careful, because I wouldn't go that high yet. Because yes, he will be destined for the top spot. He will be one of the top guys when he goes up to the main roster, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. I'm looking someone like maybe a Miro.
Okay.
Rusev, or whichever name he's using this week. Someone like that, someone in the upper mid card, someone who with some credibility, but not that far up the card where you don't want to ruin any value in someone else by losing to someone who just came in, if that makes sense. I don't know if I worded that correctly, but I think you get my point.
Yeah, everybody gets that point. And Rusev against Obafemi, you know what it will be? A banger. after banger after banger.
Actually, I want to channel my good, my old boss, my good friend JR, and say it'll be a slobber knocker.
We'll leave that for AEW there. Okay.
Okay.
So that's it. But Jimmy, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you, and who do you have on Huge Pop Wrestling Show?
You can get a Huge Pop this week. We spoke to one Daniel Pewter. I think people remember that name. And yeah, guess what we talked about? We talked about a lot of things, but that came up, the old Tough Enough situation with Kurt Angle. So that was a fun little interview. Obviously, you can catch me on all my social media platforms at Jimmy Korderas on Twitter, at Real Jimmy Korderas on Instagram. You know, my Ref and Rants Monday to Friday, just a minute and a half or so video. Little things, little critiques where I think the screws can be tightened a little bit. That's all.
All right, and don't forget this Sunday's Heatwave starts at 7, and I believe not only will it be on in Canada on Netflix, but it will be on the CW network here in Canada as well. So check it out. You don't need Netflix for this one. You could have CW as well. So hopefully you enjoy the show. That's Jimmy Korderas. Jimmy will be back to preview The Forbidden Door. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
No problem, buddy.